Hello, everyone. My guest today is Maciej. He's the CEO and founder of a company called Piwik PRO, a GDPR compliant analytics and marketing platform for enterprises, and Clearcode, the world's leading software house specializing in building custom advertising and marketing technology. Maciej, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, sure. I'm really excited to be here.
That's great. Well, I appreciate you making time to join. Tell us about Piwik PRO. What's the company do and how do you make money?
Sure. So what we offer is we offer GDPR compliant analytics and marketing platform. So you can think of us as a counterpart of Google and Adobe, but privacy friendly and GDPR compliant.
Is it a SaaS company?
Yeah, it's a SaaS company, but actually we offer the software in two variants. One is in the cloud, so typical SaaS version, as well as on premises, and that's why we are chosen by many of our customers.
Interesting. If you break down your total revenue over the past 12 months, how much is on-prem versus in the cloud?
It's 70% on-prem and 30% cloud. Interesting.
Now, do you still charge monthly fees even once you do an on-prem installation?
Yeah, we do. So it's a license fee. It's a yearly fee. So we charge a licensing. It's not a subscription like in SaaS.
Is the license though price in terms of ACV kind of similar though to the SaaS ACV? Maciej, the question was:
you break up
is your on-prem ACV the same as your SaaS ACV?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the same. It's just that the client pays for their own infrastructure, but on the other end, they receive more technical support to get updates, installation, and so
That's great. And so what are people paying on average per year for this?
So our average subscription price is somewhere around $25,000
per year.
It's actually, it's actually average for both like cloud and on-premises. On-premise tends to be a bit higher than the cloud.
Yep. And what have you scaled to today in terms of total customers?
We have over 100 enterprise accounts, we call them. So the customers that are like corporates, governments, financial institutions, and so on. And we have around like 300 medium-sized businesses customers.
Okay, but they all pay about 25 grand a year.
So the average is across everything. So the enterprise customers pay a bit more. The cloud customers will be paying less.
Okay, but if I add the 100 plus the 300, so there's 400 there with an ACV average of call it 25 grand per year, that would put you at about 800 grand per month in revenue. Is that accurate?
No, it's not accurate. So it's actually the ACV across the enterprise account that is 25K.
I see.
And the ACV across the cloud business is much smaller.
I see. Okay, so if you mind me asking, what are you doing today in terms of monthly revenue?
So in terms of monthly revenue, we are doing over 300,000.
Okay, that's a healthy business though. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You bet. Okay, so 300,000. Now we can kind of back into an average there. So 300,000 divided by 400, that average is $750 per month. But you have two very distinct cohorts. Smaller business and then 100 enterprise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, when did you launch the company? What year?
It's 2013.
2013. That's great. And have you bootstrapped the company or raised?
So we bootstrapped the company for the first four and a half years. It was bootstrapped by actually Clearcode, which is a software house. So it's a healthy business that is bringing profit every month. And we basically put all this money into developing the Piwik PRO.
Maciej, I want to hone in here on a pattern I see frequently. Is Clearcode kind of like an agency that you were doing one-off projects for, and then you said, wow, we should build this thing called Pixel Pro that a lot of people can use, a lot of our agency customers can use?
So it's kind of that, but I think our story is a bit different because we tend to have like larger long-term clients. So typically like the Clearcode client is 18 months or more on average. So these are like relatively large and complex projects that we do. However, what we find out that with services business, it's very hard to scale because you have to like fight for talent and you cannot you would like to do more projects, but you cannot find enough like people without sacrificing the quality. So we figured out after several years that we need to invest into the product. And because we were in the marketing technology space, plus I was the one of the first contributors to the open source Piwik, now called Matomo. It was the natural step for us. Let's do the enterprise version of that.
Interesting. Very good. But just to be clear, Clearcode, though, is not a SaaS platform. It's an agency model.
Yeah, it's an agency model.
Yeah. Interesting. So how did you have the confidence? Do you mind me asking how big you grew that to? Is it a couple million per year?
Yeah, it's a couple million per year. It has 100 people, mostly developers and project managers, QA specialists.
And this was your baby. You created it.
Yeah. I created it from scratch.
So how did you so Maciej, I see a lot of founders, they launch great SaaS products on top of a great agency. The ones that don't, though, get stuck in the agency because the couple million in revenue they really like, and they never have the confidence to totally stop doing agency work and go all in on the product or the SaaS company. How did you have that clearness inside of your own head to say, okay, I'm going to move away from the agency and go all in on Pixel Pro?
Yeah, so actually we haven't moved away. Like we Clearcode is still operating and have 100 people, and we continue working on the project. But you raise a very important topic. There was a lot of difficulty into have these dilemmas whether we should do client work and earn revenue instantly, or we should put these people to work on the product. So, and it continues to be difficult. I think I spent around 70 to 80% my time on the product business, while still 30%, 20 to 30% on the agency business. And but it was too big for us to just shift to the product. Plus, it was too tempting not to have investors and self-fund the company.
Yep. So you're using the agency money to obviously bootstrap the Piwik Pro.
Yeah, correct. Plus, on the way, we raised additional 2 million, but it was a small round compared to our size at the time. But just because we had another 1-2 millions coming from the profit from the agency business, so we didn't want to raise too much.
So Maciej, am I understanding you correctly? You got 2 million from outside investors and about 2 million from the agency so far.
No, because it's the agency, we are spending from the agency's money 1 to 2 million additional million a year.
So how much total from the agency have you put into the company today?
I think this will be in upper 5 million.
Okay, and you've raised an additional 2 million from other investors.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so call it $7 million to fund the company.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, does the agency, how's the cap table work? Does the agency actually sit on the cap table of Piwik Pro?
Yeah, that was actually a difficult thing when we were fundraising, because typical VCs does not want to they want to invest in one thing and have super return or zero, and we had to be very we had to find the investors that will be fit. So we have a private angel who is Tim Schumacher, who is behind AdBlock Plus, which is very great because this is the privacy space and it works very well because he's insider. Plus we have a private equity fund that does not have the term of the fund, so they invest in the long term growth.
That's great. Speaking of growth, so you're doing 300 grand per month today. Where were you about a year ago?
We were probably we grew 60 to 80% over the last few years. So I don't have exact figure in my mind, but beginning 2017, I think we were somewhere around less than 200 or around 200K.
Yep. And what about churn? Churn's critical in a SaaS company. What are you guys at today?
So that's interesting because we also analyze it per cohort. So we see very low churn in this enterprise sector, and that's what we are actually mostly focused now. So the enterprise cohort.
Is that the on-prem or just the SaaS?
It's for us, it's an enterprise cohort because it's mostly on-prem, but there are a couple enterprise customers that are on the cloud. And the medium-sized business cohort that we actually is treated as our legacy business. There we have very high churn, probably 10-15%. But in the enterprise cohort, it's under 5%.
So let's look across your entire customer base. Over the past 12 months, what % of your revenue have you lost? What was gross revenue churn?
The gross revenue churn was probably around in this year, so year to date, because I think that's easier for me to just remember. It's somewhere around 6.5 to 7%.
Okay, and when you add back expansion revenue on top of that, Are you guys above net 100% net revenue retention?
No, we are not on top of the. So we don't have negative churn. Not at least yet.
Are you close?
We started doing a successful upsells because we are adding new products to our platform. So now it's called Piwik PRO Marketing Suite, and we have nice upsell coming in, but it wasn't enough to cover the difference.
The 7%
yet.
Yeah. So Maciej, what is net revenue retention right now? Like 98, 99%, something like that?
It will be closer probably to 95 to 97, just because the really upsells started kicking in the Q2 this year. So, and Q3 is typically slow for the enterprise sales. So it's still low. I mean, we expect this to grow really well in the next year.
Now, to acquire one of these $25,000 per year enterprise accounts, what are you willing to spend fully weighted on acquiring them?
We would be willing to spend probably much more than we are spending today. So we would be willing to spend as much as 1.5 or 2 times a yearly contracts value, because we know now that these enterprise accounts have very high lifetime value. But currently, since we are quite cautious as a European company with the spending. And I think this is maybe, a bit of our nightmare, but also a bit of our mentality not to overspend. So if I think, for example, for the fundraising that we did in 2017, we had so many upfront payments for subscription, 12 months subscription, that we haven't touched this money, which means probably we are spending not fast enough. So we are spending less than a yearly account value for acquiring them. Probably in somewhere anywhere between 50 to 80%. I cannot give you the right number right now.
That's fine. Yeah. So you're across your entire base, right? It's about $750 per month. You're saying you're totally willing to spend, $700 to acquire that customer. That's about 8 and 9 months of ACV, but you could, and you would be comfortable setting up to, 18 months or maybe even 24 months because of the lifetime value.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. And where are you getting most of your new customers from? How are they finding you?
So we are very big on inbound marketing. So probably that was primary channel that we grew, generated the growth. So 80% is inbound. It's of course supported by paid marketing, but now that we got certain scale, we are growing the partner channel and the outbound channels, and that's something that we started earlier this year and plan to expand in the following months.
Maciej, any little golden nuggets here, things that are not common strategies for customer acquisition that you're doing, even if it only got you 1 or 2 customers?
I would have to think of that. I think that there isn't many things that none of the companies tried out.
Something besides inbound and Google ads.
Okay. So I think what works very well for us is having in Europe, the partner in specific regions where they speak local language and where we don't have local presence. And that's how we grew very well Nordics market. And we plan to replicate it in a couple other European markets that are where we won't probably have the on-site sales team. Interesting.
Okay, very good. And what about team size today? What are you guys at?
We are over 100. We are 105 plus minus 2.
And that's just the SaaS side, or the SaaS side plus the agency?
No, that's just the product side. So SaaS side. The agency is another 100. I mean, in total, we are 190, but there are still a couple common roles in the company like finance, HR, and so on. Everything else is dedicated either to agency business or to the product business.
That's great. And where's everybody based?
So our headquarters is in Wrocław in Poland, but we have offices in Cologne in Germany, in New York, as well as we have a couple other people, especially in the sales and marketing positions, working in, for example, Rotterdam in Netherlands, in UK. So we are kind of spread with the core operations, product development in Poland, in Wrocław.
Great. Maciej, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. One-word answers if you can. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Favorite business book? That caught me off the guard.
Or the last book you read?
I would say I've read quite a bit recently on the purchasing, Split Second, I think is the book called.
Split Second. Very good. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
I'm currently following, but that's just out of curiosity what's happening, Elon Musk, just because of all the recent things that happened at Tesla. So that's probably the one tweet feed that goes on in my background.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your business?
With online tool, I would say I'm a huge fan of HubSpot. It helped a lot on aligning sales and marketing.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
Somewhere around 6 to 7.
Okay, that's pretty good. In which situation? Married, single? Do you have kids?
It's single with girlfriend and 2 cats.
Okay, not married, girlfriend, 2 kiddos, and how old are you?
So not 2 kids, 2 cats.
Oh, 2 cats. Okay, 0 kids, 2 cats. And how old are you? How old are you, Maciej?
31.
31. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I think when growing the company, focus more on sales and marketing at earlier stage, and hire more for this position because I was doing it myself too long.
Yep. Guys, privacy-focused analytics, focused more on sales and marketing earlier on. Maciej joining us again. They've just passed 300 grand per month in revenue, up about 60 to 70% year over year, serving 400 customers. Again, paying on average about $750 a month for this tool. They've got a team of 105 people building it in Poland and other remote locations, willing to spend up to, call it 80% of first-year ACV on acquiring customers, and hoping to get more aggressive with that as time goes on, willing to spend up to 18 or maybe even 24 months of ACV on acquiring the customer, just because lifetime values are so long. Founded the company in 2013, gross revenue churn 7%, 95% net revenue retention annually. They've raised $2 million of outside capital. The rest, they've funded all from their agency. Maciej, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you very much.